Oh, yeah, thank you. For those who are not aware, my name is Emma Clark. I'm the District Governor-elect, and the purpose of today's sessions is to equip those interested, but also directors for the next Rotary year in the different specialty areas. And one that has come on board over the last year that District Governor Peter has created is the High Performance and Marketing team. And we're very lucky to have the head of that team here, which is past District Governor Shia from Nunawading, and she's going to take us through everything high performance and marketing. So please enjoy, everyone. We have only got a short time together, unless, of course, you're here for every session today, in which case we've got about 7 hours together. So that's nice. So I will hand over without further ado to Shia. If you want to put questions in the chat, is that okay, Shia?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, then we can get back to them. And if we run out of time, obviously we'll have your contact details to get back to you. So over to you, Shia.
Okay. First off, just wanted to introduce the team to everyone. So we are, as Emma said, a marketing team, and we're here as a resource for club members who are actually interested in marketing their club, pretty much outside there to Rotarians themselves, but also outside to the general public. So the committee is made up of skills. They've got the marketing skills. As you can see, we've got Andy, who's got skills in AI and blogging, Bill and Judy for club branding and external signage, Chris Brace, social media strategy, Patrick Douglas Ken, promotion and sponsors. Kiara is just a marketing guru, so any questions on marketing. Chris, marketing as well, but also project and events. Stephen, if you need assistance with your website development and public relations, and I'm just the chair, so do not come and ask me for anything about marketing. I'm not a marketeer. But they are there to provide you with guidance and support. So they're not there to do it for you. It is, but they're there to give you the assistance and guidance you need to help you go and market your club and to actually get it seen outside Rotary. So what we're doing, part of our session today is we had the marketing awards you may have been aware of. We had 3 clubs who submitted applications to the marketing awards. We had more, but of today we've got 3 of those clubs who submitted it to answer a few questions about how they engage with people outside of Rotary to get them involved in their events. We're then going to have Stephen Palomari is going to talk about how to get the most out of your Facebook statistics. And then we're going to have Chris Ash, who will talk about project planning and events. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. So Claire from MAFRA wanted to know is how MAFRA Rotary makes themselves known to people outside of your community, because from your application you sent through, you do have a lot of events that involve your local community. So how do you actually get the local community involved, please?
Well, this is still in progress. We've been trying very hard in the last year or so to do this. We have 6 regular events each year, and one in particular, our family Mardi Gras, which is a parade with free kids entertainment. That brings about 3,000 to 4,000 people into the town. We do the monthly market, Australia Day awards, bike ride for mental health, all that sort of thing. Sorry about this. We also are actively involved in supporting groups, other organisations in the town, like the MAFRA Scouts, the RSL, Women's Shed, all that sort of thing. And we don't just give them money to buy what they want. We make a big thing about publicity, and we also ask them to come, a member from their organisation, to come to a Rotary meeting so that they find out more about what we do. We were finding a lot of these big events, we were just putting them on, but people still didn't understand that it was Rotary doing it or that what Rotary was. I do have a banner, large, pull-up banner with the 7 areas of focus on it. So what is Rotary at the top? And I want to do another one with sort of more, we're about friendship and service and all of that as well. We're very lucky. I think in the country, it's slightly easier. We've got the Gippsland Times, which is our Wellington Shire newspaper, and they publish anything I write, basically. They put photos in, and I write articles on a lot of the things that we do. And we also have some small town newsletters. So there's a little Bryagalong and with places you've never heard of, but they have their own little newsletters, and we put articles in those all the time. Every time we do follow a lot of or join in a lot of the youth programs, and every time we do that, we put an article in the paper. Every time we have, tomorrow we're having community service award presentations, and we'll do an article and photos, and we invite the mayor or councillors, which helps as well to get us known. Oh, and we do Facebook as well, of course, and we have a brochure that we spread around the town. It goes in the information centre, and yeah, that's all I can think of at the moment.
No, excellent. That's great. And are you finding that the awareness of Rotary is increasing as you have all these events going out, that people actually do know what you're doing, and they're actually coming to you either for more assistance or you're getting more members from it?
Unfortunately, not more members at this stage. We're working on it, but it hasn't worked in that way yet. As I said, it's work in progress, really. We've certainly, the support we give to the high school, which is fairly little financially, we give an award every year, Year 11 award, and we do the scholarship, district grant scholarship. But all the teachers we come across say, "Oh, Rotary, you're fantastic. You do so much for the school." So that's the start.
That is the start. Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Oh, sorry. Yes, you were going to say.
No, that's right. The Maffra Scouts we support, and they come to our market every month, and they have doubled their membership through recruiting at the market. So they're everyone we deal with is very positive about Rotary, and we've just got to let that drift into the community and get more awareness.
Excellent. Thank you, Claire. Don, I don't know if Raj is here, from Curly from Monash Glen Waverley. Can you tell us about your social media marketing and promotional strategy that you have in place at your club? Oh, can Don be unmuted, please? Whoever's controlling the mutes.
I'm also here, Shia. Good morning, everyone.
And Raj, okay, Raj can talk. Don, he's off mute.
Yeah, Don can go ahead first. Yep.
No, he can't unmute himself. So could you go for it, Raj? Oh, there it is. One of you.
Go ahead, Don.
Okay, Raj, you put the application in, and you've done all the hard work on particularly the social media. Raj is a master at keeping our Facebook up to date, and also our Multicultural Inclusion Day is a godsend in terms of getting the message out there. But Raj, you got the detail of the Multicultural Days, probably the one that brings in most of the people from all different areas. Raj?
Yep, absolutely. That's one of the key marketing triggers for the club, and which we are in contact with about 20 organizations. About 130 participants are coming to perform their cultural event at the day-long session. And we also, this year, we got some stalls, Australian-made products. We encourage small businesses as well. That is one of the key marketing things. And with that, we got an organic inquiries already are in the pipeline, where Don is looking as part of the membership, which is a successful thing for us. And the other thing is book sales. We are getting a lot of volunteers from local schools and communities as well to come and help us. That is also one of the marketing things. As such, what we are promoting the club within the LGA and
Raj, sorry, can I get you back to your multicultural? How did you make contact with those different groups? Did you already have an invite to them, or what was your plan to make contact with them? Because sometimes that's the hardest thing for people to know, how to make contact with the different groups.
Absolutely, that's right. Initially, this is the third year we are running the Multicultural Inclusion Day event. First year, the thought process has started, and we contacted the council. Council are in support. Basically, we created a flyer and sent off to the council, and they got a whole list of the multicultural associations that are registered as part of the council. So with that, in the first year itself, we got about 12 organizations which came and participated straight away. And they have all come voluntarily. And and the other good thing is between the sessions, we promote the Rotary videos as part of the engagement as well as promoting. We got a lot of marketing material available in our website. Whichever the culture they're performing, we just get those sort of videos and to present them. And they're also very much getting connected with Rotary in that aspect. And also we give certificates to all the participants and also the schools are supporting to come and participate as well. Last year we got about 50 school kids coming and performing the Bollywood dance from the secondary college, which was amazing to see. And all the details are there on our Facebook page, which is giving a lot of social media attention as well.
It's a wonderful event, really. The fact that you've got the participants who want to get out there and perform and show everybody else in the community what they do. And, often on a weekly basis, they might be playing in a group or doing a dance. But for them to come and demonstrate in front of a crowd really, puts their efforts to a great result.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, as you've done it for 3 years, are you finding that those groups are asking if you're doing it again? Because for them, it's also a way of promote themselves. And so Rotary is seen as that conduit to do work for them.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, a couple of groups are performing they've performed 3 years in a row. And based on the dates availability, and they're pretty much we got full list of communities that would like to come and perform again. We got a very good feedback as well.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. I'm just conscious of time. Catherine from Maroondah, are you able to answer a few questions? Because I can't see if Darren's online yet. Catherine, you there? Eggleston? I can see Catherine, but she's not talking to me.
I'm on, Shia.
Oh, Darren, good. I couldn't see you. Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you. So Maroondah has some very successful fundraising events, which I know you've been running for many years, and you get considerable attendance at those events from people outside of Rotary. So I'd like to know, well, we would like to know how you actually achieve that.
Yeah, thanks, Shia, and good morning, everyone. A lot of some of the events we have is that we have a gala night which attracts about 200 plus people every time we have that function. A lot of these events get a lot of success because of the networking rather than just the marketing itself. Mm-hmm. So, our network, spans into a lot of the local pollies, so Nick McGowan, and those sort of guys that we get involved. We also get involved with the Chinese community. We've just had a newspaper article in the Chinese community, which is the first one we've been able to do for a while, and that'll be a great help. So we market through that as well. We do local councils. So Kylie Spears, who was the mayor of Maroondah, we got her involved, and she gets her people involved. And because we do the function on behalf of Eastern Health. Eastern Health is quite a large network. I think there's something like 14,000 people that work in Eastern Health. And we were dealing with the CEO of Eastern Health, which was David Plunkett. And David Plunkett promoted within his network as well. We have alliances with the shopping centre, the local shopping centre, which is the big one in Ringwood. And we do a lot of advertising through them as well. So it's not just pure marketing alone, but it's about a lot of big networking. We have good friends of Darren Paul, who's the owner, and he's probably the biggest Mazda dealer in the country. and Darren Paul gets involved, and we get some of our local ones involved in charities, 4TK and things like that. So it's about networking rather than just putting things on social media and websites and things like that, because you can do that, but you've got to get people to go to it. If you've got a big network, and our network's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, we're starting to get some good traction, and probably in the last 6 months especially, we're probably the membership inquiries have been substantial. I'm probably getting an inquiry once a month or twice a month.
So are you finding that because of your network, the awareness of Rotary is getting out there? Because it's all very well to have the networks to say, yes, this is what we're doing, but if they don't kind of know what you're doing, so you're finding it's a dual thing as well, that that awareness is, you don't have to keep reiterating what Rotary does because the awareness is getting out there as well?
Yeah, absolutely, Shay. And I think it's, because we have those people that have of power, they talk about it as well. And they like to be associated with it as well, because a lot of the politicians, they love to get a little photo with all the Rotarians and put it up on their social media. So that goes around their network as well. So certainly gets you out there, but I think Rotary still has a lot to do. I mean, often I'll wear a Rotary T-shirt on a weekend or something and walk into a shop and someone will say to me, I didn't think Rotary was still around. Like it's kind of a weird scenario when you're trying to touch so many of the community, but it has helped with awareness. And I think our communication now with those people is pretty regular. And that's the other thing you have to do too. When you build the network, is you've got to keep working on that network and don't let it disappear. So a lot of those people would come to our Christmas functions, our changeovers. They'd come to a Rotary meeting. We'd get them to come and have a talk with us. So we're keeping them as part of a partnership rather than just a person in the community.
And last question for you, do you invite those people, or do you just have it in your bulletin and hope they turn up to the changeovers? Or do you
can't hope for anything. You can't hope for anything, Cher, because nothing happens if you wait for hope. So we invite them to everything. And we do a electronic news link, which is generated on a back page of our website. So it's available via invitation only. But what we do with that is even that goes out once a month, and we send that link to all those people. And it's interesting enough, people like Nick McGowan that do click on the link and go and see what you are doing for the month and what you have done and all that sort of stuff. So it's a lot of invitations. A lot of times it will be a phone call as well. We'll ring them and say, look, come on, you've got to come along. And generally they do once you've got that network. So yeah, you don't wait and hope, Cher.
No, excellent. Thank you, Darren. Okay, so thank you for those people who answered all those questions. So next we're moving on to Stephen, who's going to talk about the Facebook statistics behind. I'm just going to share my screen because he has some slides. So bear with me. So Stephen, you there?
Cher. Yeah, thank you, Cher. What's really important, I suppose, and Christine will cover this in the next presentation as well, is actually getting, once we do all this great work, creating the awareness, we need to start looking at the results behind that. So the analytics, and especially in our social media, how important it is. Now, a lot of members we know and a lot of clubs don't actually really go in and have a look at their analytics, see how successful their social media was as when they were using it. So what we've got here, just got a few slides. Now we're going to flick through them, and these are both Chris's presentation and my presentation will actually be loaded onto the high performance page on the district. So you'll be able to go in and actually have a good look at these, but we'll just go a brief run through. And we recently ran an antique fair up in Belgrave last weekend. So these will actually show you guys the results and how we tracked doing that. What's important is how you guys can actually find where your Facebook insights are. So we've got the steps here. You go to your Facebook page, open your dashboard under your business suite, select your insights, and then you can go through and do all your reviews. So what will follow now, Shia, is the most important key metrics for you to look at is your views and your reach. And engagements is really important because it's important to know what's actually happening and if people are actually not just seeing your post, but if they're actually taking a bit of interest and actually commenting or sharing, etc. Sharing is really vital to improve your awareness across new markets as well. Followers versus non-followers, we'll track those through as well. Your audience demographic, really important to know who your customer actually is on social media. and always reviewing your top performing posts. As you can see here, this over the 28 days leading up to the Antique Fair, we had 123,000 views, which is over a 2,000% increase. Around the last week or so, we had a massive spike. We were doing continual daily posts and sharing across groups across our local regions and demographics that are really important to the antique market. And the reach of the content went well beyond our existing followers. Okay, it was a brand new page, so really we got a lot of real traction from that. We had 96% of our viewers came from non-followers, right? As I said, brand new page. What it did show was that our audience reached a really good community penetration, and we got some great outcomes for Rotary in regards to the promotion of that. Over 5,000 engagements, so that's likes, shares, etc. You know, that was fantastic for us. We were really, really wrapped with those results. 52 comments. So the most important thing with you, no, that's okay, that's fine. And 244 shares, and that's what was really important for us. Was we had a lot of people tell us that they came from a lot of the local pages groups. You know, as an example, you know, you might have been in Belgrave, and it might have been, you know, the Belgrave buy, swap and sell page, something like that. It's always important to review your best performing content. So, you know, how do your photo posts? How did they perform? Is it important to have single photos or multi-photo albums, right? Having events of real people and real event happening outperforms a lot of other activity, and the crowd and atmosphere images. So the growth for us, we went from 35 to 196 in the space of 28 days, 160 new net followers, so 400% growth. You know, that's really important. Thanks, Cher. Next one. Yep. Our strongest audience is the 55 to 64 when we're talking about the antique and collectible market, but we had a really strong demographics from that 35 to 54 market. And what we saw coming through the market was actually a lot of the younger 35 to say 45 market coming through, and they were the ones that spent really well. So it was a really successful market in regards to that. We can move forward. So what really worked well for us, especially, is consistent daily posting using storeholder information. We shared a lot of the posts. Probably every post was shared 20, 25 times a day to different groups. And we had local relevance because we didn't try to go too far out of our market. We know that the travellers for the market are around about the 30 to 35K market. So we kept it within that demographic. As I said, areas that we could improve in was to use more video. We didn't really get great video leading up to it, and you know, scheduling the posts strategically around the event. You know, is making sure that you're having the posts leading up. You know, 4 weeks out, 3 weeks out, really having those key milestones to advertise. The key messages for Rotary clubs, and I know a lot of clubs don't do it. Unfortunately, you've got to measure what you're doing, right? You can't improve if we're not measuring it. We need to use the analytics, and there's a great amount of analytics in the back end of both Facebook and Instagram that can be used. And that data helps attract the sponsors. You know, as Darren was saying before, they've got their great relationships with all their connections. This helps build your sponsorship base and build your connections by showing people your reach. They want to be involved with people that are actually actively in the community, right? So Facebook is a critical Rotary marketing tool. So just some quick analytics, as you can see here, 123,000 views. You can see the event was on the 17th. So that last 10 days leading up, we had a lot of reach in our local area. Thanks, Cher. You know, posts, we shared them across multiple markets. So different areas gave us better returns. You've got here our reactions. So again, that last 10 days, the lead up into the event, which Chris will talk about with the marketing side of it, is really important to bring all that awareness that you've built up leading up to that time. You can see there that most of the interactions, what was that from? Is from our followers, right? So we had 73% of non-followers compared to 23% of followers. Thanks, Sheb. That's just the examples of the statistics. And again, just leading up to the overall follower increase, we noticed that last 10 days, our growth happens through our analytics. So what's really important, I suppose, in the end is to check your demographics. All of that comes in the back end. All that information is there. So we can see we had 30% of our demographic was over 55, right? And then we had 40% between 35 to 45%. So, you know, we're not just talking about over 65s. We're talking about, you know, connecting with our demographic. So all of these, as I said, these statistics are vital for you to keep your activity and your results going, and these will be loaded up onto the dashboard as well. Thanks.
Thank you, Stephen. Chris Ash, project and event planning.
Great. Before I start, could everyone make sure that they've got their phones on mute? Philip Thurgood, could you turn your phone off? Just before I start, just making sure that we're all on mute. Okay, well, project and event planning is really, I guess, a session in its own right. But let's just, and thank you, Stephen, for your information on the Facebook analytics. Those are really important as well in terms of looking at project and event planning. I'm going to take a quick high-level view. As Stephen mentioned, these slides are on the website, and there's also a really full template that people can download and print and use for their event planning. So if we think about your event, this might seem a really simple question or a silly question really to ask, but is it really needed? It's often a good idea to step back and do a little bit of embryonic brainstorming before you run an event. And asking if it's really needed is a strange question, but somebody else may be doing something very similar at the same time in your community. You have to check whether it really is what your community needs if it's a project. So have you really gone out and checked and to see whether the event will fly or the project is really needed? Setting clear goals is also about what you want to achieve and establishing metrics around these, whether it's in terms of awareness raising or fundraising or delivering a community project. Be really clear at the outset what success is going to look like. Next thing is what's in a name. No, not next slide. Next point.
Sorry. Sorry.
We're trying to manage it remotely here, aren't we? What's in a name? Really everything. It's great to really sit down and think of a name that synergizes with what you're doing. We've recently established a dementia cafe at the Emerald Club, and we've called it the Golden Hour Cafe, because that's evoking images of aging, the golden hour, warmth, settling in, all of that kind of warm fuzzies. So thinking about your name is really important. And what you'd want and what to do and what's your target audience. Really thinking about who you're reaching out to. That the demographic you're trying to engage may be very different to the demographic of your club. You may have more than one audience you want to reach, so you need to actually establish different messaging streams for those different audiences. Okay, next slide now, Shia, thank you. So if we look at drilling down a little bit in more detail at setting goals, setting clear goals is really important. So setting a fundraising target. I've sat professionally with professional fundraisers who have set unrealistic goals. So don't set yourself up to fail. Have a think about the number of sponsors you want to approach, what realistically they can give in this, particularly in this economic climate. Or if you're fundraising by each individual, think about your target goal of participations and multiply that, say, by I don't know, if you've got 100 people and you think each one can raise $50, simple math says your target's about $5,000. So break it down and make sure it's achievable. If you're raising awareness, what do you want to achieve? Is it awareness for your club? Awareness for a project? Or an issue in the community? So have a look and think really what awareness what success will look like and write that down. Community partnerships is also a goal. This maybe ties to local community organisations or sponsorship links with the business community. So think about what's in it for them. And at the end of the day, what is your event or project hoping to achieve regarding these community partnerships? And how's that going to look ongoing? And how are you going to tuck that in and then move that partnership forward that you've established with the event? You also may have club goals, Rotary Club goals. It could be you want more members. We all want more members. But it may also be that it's raising awareness for an important cause in your community. Make sure you're clear what you want to achieve from your Rotary Club perspective as well. Okay, moving on. This may seem basic, but it's often overlooked. Setting a simple task list about what you need to achieve to bring your project or event to fruition. I tend to use a simple Excel spreadsheet, and the committee just brainstorm everything they need to do. It doesn't have to be in any order. Just write them in on a row in the Excel spreadsheet. Make sure you set somebody who is responsible for achieving the goal or finalising on that goal. Each goal can only have one person responsible. That doesn't mean to say that they have to do it. It means that they're just taking management ownership of that task. Set a completion date for each task. Many of you in business will have heard of Gantt charts, that sometimes one task has an interdependency. As you're setting those task date completions, think about what else is dependent on that task being completed and put those task dates in accordingly. Keep a check on the current status. It's often good to have a column in the Excel spreadsheet of just to write in and annotate where you are with everything. And then, of course, have the done column as a tick box. This is an absolutely important tool as you progress through your project or event planning, that you can keep a check on where you are with everything. And if you share it in a Google Drive and everybody has the link, your whole committee can easily see where everyone is, and they can even update it themselves. It becomes a living document. And, you know, it's really important as well at the end of the event, because the task list then provides the blueprint for the following year. Obviously in Rotary, you often get committee leads change, but they've then got a working document to give them a good starting point. Budget and financial planning. You know, setting a budget is essential, and your board should sign that off. Your board's got governance responsibility for what's happening in the club, particularly financials. So setting a clear budget is really important. Ensure you know what you want to make, what your profit is, and how you're going to get there, and what your expenditure will be. Some projects may, by choice, run as a deficit. You may be running a project or an event that's raising awareness, and you know it's going to be a loss and the club is going to cover that cost. But there again, that cost should be included in the budget. Make the budget real. Setting a budget is actually a really good tool to help understand if a project really has legs and is going to fly. There are many templates out there for budgets. I tend to use quite a simple one where I have a column for the budgeted amount. I have a column for actuals so that I know where the project is at any point in time and what we've spent against each of those items, or what's come in against each of those items. And more recently, we had a project at Emerald where we weren't sure that it was actually viable. I had a project, a column that listed everything we were liable to, we were going to be liable for if we pulled the plug. So regularly check the budget and adjust your spending, and make sure you're staying on budget as you plan your project. And then you go back to, and if you need to go over your budget, go back to obviously ask your members to come back to the board to sign off for any additional expenditure. Okay, next slide, Shia. Stephen's covered off a bit about the Facebook and analytics, but briefly in terms of marketing and PR, again, this is a whole 45 minutes in its own right, but think about your branding for your event or your project. Keep it consistent. Make sure it aligns with Rotary standards in terms of Rotary branding as well. Keep the key messaging simple, and think about the what's in it for me of your audience. Often the key messages is about, we have messaging about us where it should really be about them. What's going to make somebody come along to your event? What's going to make somebody engage with your project and what you're doing? What's going to make somebody join Rotary? Make sure that those themes are outward looking, not inward looking. Your theme of your event should resonate with the goals. We've talked about that in terms of alignment of naming and imaging, that kind of thing. Think about your stories. Stories bring the passion. They pull the heartstrings. If you've got an event or a project, find your champions and ambassadors that really talk about the why of your project. Why are you doing this? This goes back to the embryonic planning that you did in the first place. Is it needed? Is this what we really want to do? Keep the stories relevant, engaging, and consistently roll out those stories over a period of time in the run-up to your event or the launch of your project. And of course, if you've got an ongoing project, regularly provide updates in your social media, your newsletters, and in the press about what you're doing. Engaging with the media outlets is also very important. And I find writing a press release is a great way to distill your message. Press releases need to be succinct. So going through the process of writing one helps you really distill what you really want to say in other areas of your PR as well about your event or project. We find in Emerald with our local newspaper, as I expect many of you do, if you send a story with an interesting and high resolution picture, they're more than happy to print your story in the paper. You're doing their work for them, but it does make sure that you've got your message out there on brand and it's saying what you want it to say. In the interest of time, I'm not going to go through all of this slide, but the details here are there in the slide deck for you of all the different marketing channels you can use, just as a reference. And next slide, Shia, is really to remember to celebrate, enjoy the occasion, look at what your goals you've achieved and celebrate the ones you've achieved or exceeded. And in that celebration, remember to thank everyone. Thank the committee, thank the volunteers, thank the sponsors, thank those who came along. Often events are you register online with TryBooking, etc. Sending out a simple email to all of those registrants to thank them for taking their time to come along, tell them what you've raised, tell them what you've achieved, and they then get that. It kind of tucks the loop in and provides a nice way of making sure that they engage moving forward and come along next year if it's a repeat event. Most critically, though, is the debrief. Make sure you get together quite quickly after an event and drill down on what you did well, what didn't work, and what you could do better next time. And write those notes down so that they're there ready for the pre-planning in the following year. Don't just ask your committee about how things went or if they're going with a project, if it's ongoing. Ask your sponsors, ask the attendees for their feedback as well. They may have a very different perspective of how your event or project is landing. So make sure you reach out to a whole range of people to find out and get those metrics back. So look, that's a really quick overview. Thank you for attending. Thank you for listening. As I said, there's an in-depth template on the website that you can print off. You can use parts of it, all of it, whatever you need for your project and event planning. And look forward to hearing from you. We're here to help. Please reach out. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. We do have 5 minutes left, and we've purposely done that. Does anyone have any questions? No questions.
Pia,
Okay.
will you run any? I know last year the team ran some online workshops, etc. Is that something else that's available throughout this next 12 months, maybe?
We can plan that, yes, because as Chris was saying, some of those are full-on workshops in their own right. We are very happy if any of the the Rotary community groups, if their leader makes contact. We did the year we've just had Tim's group, we put on a session for them, and we gave pretty much a presentation like we did now. So if any of the community groups or any of the clubs want any members of the team to come and visit, we're happy to do that as well. But also if there's seminars during the year, we're happy to put them on as well to actually present the same information, similar information, or targeted information, because we do. Chris Bray talks a lot more about Facebook in the actual more details. Stephen's done the analytics, but how you actually make the connections and how you make sure you're following all different groups and things like that. So yes, that is available if people require it.
Yeah, because I'm seeing in the chat lots of thought-provoking ideas, and I'm sure that people want to dig into them more. So, and they're just at the moment in the chat where people talking about, Yvonne's asked, has anyone got a LinkedIn profile page for their club? So a few people are popping in with that. So hands up, anyone else got LinkedIn profiles for their clubs?
So there's a few LinkedIn profiles out there, which are very different, the content, than what's on the Facebook. Though for some they're very similar as well. Nigel asked, is there a group specifically focused on recruiting? That would be your membership committee. Would be focusing more on recruiting. What marketing does, we get the Rotary awareness out there, which then hopefully gets the people for you to recruit. So it's more of a case of we're involved in the awareness side of things so people actually know what Rotary is. Then your membership group is all about how you actually work in promoting your club out there, and how when they actually do make contact, what you do and how you keep them engaged and things like that. So the two work very closely hand in hand, but just because you market does not mean you get new members. It's just that awareness that someone goes, okay, I know what Rotary's there, may not be interested now, 6 months, 12 months. I've known club who's taken 3 years for someone to actually join their club, but because they've done, like Darren was saying, constantly kept them invited and aware of what's happening, when the time is ready for them, they've had that awareness of what your club does, they've then gone and said, I would like to join your club. So the two do work hand in hand.
Yeah, and I think there's the marketing aspect, exactly what Chris talked about in relation to marketing of events too, to get people to come to the events, and that can be different sometimes to getting to marketing to attract members. So later on today, we've got sessions running at 2 and 3 o'clock with Past District Governor Colin Byron and Past District Governor Malcolm Shiverton, specifically targeted around membership. And we do have a membership committee that will be able to support this year coming up too. So
just one final thing before we totally disappear, Emma. We do have a site on the district webpage. So if you actually go into Rotary District 9810, under clubs and members, there's marketing, and it's Meet the High Performance Team. All the information, so the packs that Stephen and Chris have presented today will be there, and we do have a lot of other information that we've presented previously. So please go have a look there. That's where the tips and tricks and information is stored. You've also got the people's details there again, and we're all in Club Runner. So if you need to contact us, all our details are in Club Runner. So
yeah, that's